Thank you. Welcome back. It's 6:57, and City Manager Triparian, you had some comments.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Kalani. Due to technical issues, our viewing audience may notice the camera angles are different tonight. Rest assured, we'll work to troubleshoot. In the meantime, we can proceed with the meeting. To avoid further interruptions, as I stated, the camera angles will be a little bit different than what the public is accustomed to. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to mention, though, the beautiful signage that we have, the nice big screens for everybody to, oh, we got some thumbs up from the audience. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving on to oral communications number 1. This portion of the meeting is reserved for comments on items under the consent calendar or items that are not on the agenda. Under the Ralph M. Brown Act, City Council cannot act on items raised during public comment, but may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed, request clarification, or refer the item to staff. Speakers under orals are limited to either oral communications 1 or oral communications 2, and no longer than 2 minutes per speaker. Time starts when you step up to the microphone. If presenting handout material to council, please provide 11 copies to the city clerk before speaking. Handouts will be distributed while you speak. And we did have a exception oral earlier today. If you have spoken under that, you are not able to speak again. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and start. Has anyone signed up?
Yes, Your Honor. Joe Buck.
Good evening. I was pleased to observe that a meeting or two ago, the Mayor Pro Tem had indicated that she thought it would be useful to identify a place to which people could send comments with respect to dealing with ways that could be used to deal with the recent state law in accord with and consistent with the interests of the residents of Torrance. I'm not aware of any such place being identified yet. The 2 handouts that I submitted, I ask that you read at your own leisure. They describe, I think, one of the problems, an example of something that might be dealt positively.
I'm sorry, Mr. Buck.
Yes.
Stop just a moment, and we'll restart your time. I can't hear. We can't hear him up here. And
is that better?
okay, can we restart his? Can we restart his time, please? Oh, thank you.
What's happening? Anyway, this is an example of something that should be a...
Wait, sir, we're going to restart your time. Let's
Thank you.
just let the city clerk be seated as soon as she's done.
Ooh.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. A meeting or two ago, the Mayor Pro Tem suggested that there be a place identified to which people interested in zoning matters and dealing with the recent state law could send comments and suggestions, which could then be considered. I'm not aware of such a place being yet identified. I'd certainly be interested in it, and I think particularly the people that live in the hillside overlay zone be particularly interested in where to send such things. The materials I submitted just illustrate an example of some of the problems that have to be dealt with. At 139 Via Anita, just 110 feet from me, the building that's undergoing there is an ADU in connection with under state law. It's also being built on top of a minor hillside exemption, which was described in this creation as being single story only and not affecting the neighboring properties. So that's an example of one of the things. I don't know just how to deal with that, but I think these things should merit construction, and I'm looking forward to an open mind on these matters so that we can address them best in everybody's interest. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, the other name spoke earlier under closed session, but on this one, they asked to speak on consent calendar items. So Micah Yukamura? And that concludes the list.
Okay, if there's anyone else that would like to speak, please step up to the mic.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Pro Tem. I'm Jean Adelsman, and I'm here tonight to talk to you about the Torrance Cultural Arts Foundation's Tokapalooza. It's going to be June 27th, and it's free to the public, to all of you, to everybody here watching, to people who are not here tonight. Tell your friends. As I said, it's a free day of entertainment from 11 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. There are acts on the Torino Plaza. There are acts in the Armstrong, and in the Nakano, we're doing something new. We're going to have a karaoke bar. So get your tune pipes set up. You can come and not spend a single penny, or you can go visit the food trucks and buy water. There's beer from various local groups, and there's Castle Rock wine that's being poured. You do have to pay for that. Now, there are activities for children as well. It will be a fun day. Now, that's all for free, but we are a nonprofit, and we do use this as a way of raising money. So you, for $150 a person, can be a sponsor. And when you're a sponsor, we treat you like a VIP. First thing is you get parking close in, very close in. Secondly, you will be in the room off, I call it the dance studio, but it's that room mirrored room off of the Torino Plaza. And we will have catering done by Critics' Choice. And if some of you have ever had their food, you know that they cater a lot of weddings and things. And they did a smash-up job last year for those of you who were our guests. So go to torrancearts.org. Sign up.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor-elect and Council. What a week it's been here in Torrance. Wow. Thank you to everyone who voted in the Torrance municipal elections. Thankfully, this is the United States of America where we count every vote, and there are still a lot of votes to count. According to California law, postmarked ballots had until 5 p.m. today to arrive to the registrar recorder's office and will still need to be processed, have their signatures verified, and be counted. But there are still 7 more times through Friday, June 26 for updates to be posted. As this is an exciting and dynamic process, I'm sure that all the candidates who ran appreciate our encouragement and remain cautiously optimistic. Thank you all for your participation in our democratic process. The future of Torrance is bright. And also, happy Pride.
Thank you.
I just wanted to wish everyone a happy Pride Month. I'm so glad that we can celebrate that. Also coming up is Juneteenth, and I am hoping that in the next year that we start to celebrate all of these heritage months that are so important to our community. November is Native American Heritage Month. I don't think we ever celebrate that. So I look forward that we have an inclusive community that brings everyone together. I would love to see that. I'd also like to see the council take a look at that banner policy that we have. It was kind of a knee-jerk reaction to a small number of pride banners that were hung in downtown Torrance. And I think that the action that was taken to make such a restrictive policy of only American flags or only hometown hero flags or whatever was really punitive towards the downtown Torrance association, to the businesses there, the people that come there. I would love to see at the holiday season that we have banners that celebrate, that are festive, celebrating the December holidays with snowmen and Christmas trees and Hanukkah candles and whatever. And we can't even have that in Torrance because of a knee-jerk reaction by our outgoing mayor to a few pride flags. So let's look at really looking forward to a brighter future for our community. Thank you so much. And again, happy Pride, happy Juneteenth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lower this a little, I'm short. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council, and those in attendance in person and online. I'm Chair Susan Gendruco, here on behalf of the Environmental Quality and Energy Conservation, here to share some information about our 2026 Climate Smart Awards program. Within the city's strategic plan is the Stewardship of the Environment priority. The Climate Smart Awards program is implemented by the Commission in support of that priority. The goal of the award is to highlight people, businesses, and organizations within Torrance that, through services and actions, clearly demonstrate the importance of environmental stewardship. The Climate Smart Awards consist of 5 categories that include Climate Smart Energy, which recognizes achievement in clean energy, energy efficiency, and reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Climate Smart Water, which recognizes water conservation and planning or promotion of innovative water conservation efforts. Climate Smart Youth, which recognizes Torrance school-age youth, individuals, or groups for outstanding leadership in climate change and building awareness and engagement of their peers, school, or community. Climate Smart Community, which recognizes an individual or group that provides outstanding support and innovation to the implementation and goals of the strategic plan as it pertains to environmental stewardship. And Climate Smart Business, which recognizes retail, commercial, industrial, and other businesses that demonstrate achievements in any way of the award criteria or that have been recognized with an environmental certification. There are countless ways to be stewards of the environment, and the Climate Smart Awards program is one way that the city can acknowledge and encourage these initiatives. The nomination period is shorter this year. It's open now through the end of the month with the deadline of 5 p.m. June 30th. For more information, go to torranceca.gov/Climate Smart Awards. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak under oral communications number 1? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to the consent calendar. Do any council members wish to pull any items listed under the consent calendar? Councilmember Sheikh.
Yeah, just item 8C, please.
Anyone else? Oh, Councilmember Lewis?
Item 8B.
Okay, City Clerk, may we have any numbers and titles for 8D at this point?
Sorry, what's cheap baby. This is resolution number 2026-53, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, adopting a list of projects for fiscal year 2026 to 2027 as funded by SB 1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017.
Thank you. And I'll take a motion to approve the consent calendar with the exception of 8C and 8D and adopt resolution 2026-53. We're taking B as in boy, sorry. Thank you.
Make a motion to adopt all except 8B and
C.
8C.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried with Mayor Chen absent.
Okay, Councilmember Lewis, 8B as in boy.
Really no comments, just but actually has another city. So for instance, there's some folks on the north end of Torrance, in District 3 that actually live in Torrance but have Redondo mailing addresses. There's some that have Gardena mailing addresses that actually live in Torrance. Harbor Gateway is another one. There's a federal bill that has been sponsored, is the subject of this item, and it puts zip code back in the city to actually so just as an informational item, they're argued that yes, I please take a look at item. I am. Give me a second. I make a motion that we accept item 8B.
Second.
And that includes adopting the resolution.
It does in adopting the resolution.
Thank you. This is resolution number 2026-52, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, supporting S 4505 federal legislation requiring the United States Postal Service to designate zip codes for certain communities. Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carries with Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you. Councilmember Schick, item 8C.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. It's just a comment for the item 8C, which is the investment report prepared by our city treasurer. I want to thank you for the report. I just want to make a comment that for the future reference, since the trend is that our balance has been decreasing, and this is the second time it's $500,000 decrease. So going forward, please have some extra precautions, whatever is needed, so we have a proper return on investment for the for all the investments that we have. Thank you. With that, I make a motion to accept and file for item 8C.
Yes.
Second.
We're going to hold, Treasurer would like to comment, please.
Oh,
Thank you, Treasurer Goodrich.
Tim Goodrich, City Treasurer. Thank you for the question, City Council member. Just wanted to point out that it's actually normal for the balances to fluctuate throughout the year. There's certain periods of the year, especially where they might decrease, and then other certain periods of the year where they might increase. Excuse me. So it's all as expected and normal.
Okay, I'm just making a comment that we should be a little more extra careful when we make future investment. I know that you have some advisory body with you to make those adjustments. So with the trend, what's going on right now with the market, it's really unpredictable. So just want to warn for the future investment. That's about it.
Understood. Thank you.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carries with Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you. We'll be moving on to our hearings. We have several this evening. Now is the time and place for a public hearing on agenda item 9A, a recommendation of the Public Works Director that the City Council conduct a public hearing on the proposed levy of assessments within the City of Torrance Lighting District 99-1 for fiscal year 2026-2027 and adopt a resolution confirming a diagram and assessment for fiscal year 2026-2027 in connection with the City of Torrance Lighting District number 99-1. Is there a staff presentation, please?
Yes, good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. I'm Jessamine Q from Public Works. Item 9A has two recommendations related to the annual levy of assessments for the City of Torrance Lighting District 99-1 for fiscal year 26-27. Conduct a public hearing on the proposed levy of assessments within the district, and adopt a resolution confirming the diagram and assessments and ordering the improvements in connection with the district. The lighting district was established in 1999 and pays for street lighting citywide through assessments on parcels within the city. On May 5, 2026, City Council approved 3 resolutions to initiate proceedings, approve the engineer's report, and indicate the city's intention to levy assessments for fiscal year 26-27 and setting a public hearing for this evening. The adoption of the resolution before you would order the assessments to be levied for fiscal year 26-27. The proposed assessment amounts are the same as last year's and have remained the same since 2000. Single-family residential properties would again be assessed $20.50 in fiscal year 26-27, or $1.71 a month. Assessment paid by property owners would pay for special benefits of street lighting only. The total lighting cost of the district in fiscal year 26-27 is estimated at $1,968,915. This represents a $56,087 increase from fiscal year 25-26, which corresponds to an increase in SCE rates. Assessment revenues are projected to be $1,400,320 in fiscal year 26-27. The balance of district costs would be funded by gas tax funds in the amount of $568,595 as identified in the proposed fiscal year 26-27 budget. And that completes my presentation.
Thank you. We will now take public comment on this matter. Each speaker will have up to 2 minutes to speak. City Clerk, has anyone signed up for this item?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anyone in the public that would wish to speak on this item? Please step up to the mic. I do not see anyone. Does anyone on the City Council have any questions for staff at this time? I see none. So if there are no council members wishing to be heard, then I will take a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carries with Mayor Chen absent.
City Clerk, may we have a number and title, please?
Yes, Your Honor, this is resolution number 2026-54, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, confirming a diagram and assessment for fiscal year 2026-2027 in connection with the City of Torrance Lighting District number 99-1, pursuant to the provisions of the Landscaping and Lighting Act of 1972, Part 2 of Division 15 of the California Streets and Highways Code, and as provided Article 13D of the California Constitution.
Thank you. How does the City Council wish to take action on this matter?
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-54, confirming a diagram and assessment for 26-27.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carries with Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you. Now is the time and place for a public hearing on Agenda Item 9B. Conduct the third public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 2026-2027 operating budget and capital improvement plan. Is there a staff presentation?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council, Ian Daly, Finance Director. Item 9B marks the third of 3 public hearings for the fiscal year 2026-27 operating budget and capital improvement plan. There were no requested follow-up items from the May 19th hearing, and as such, staff do not have a formal presentation. While there is no formal presentation, in addition to approving the 3 resolutions outlined in the item before your honorable body tonight, staff are seeking direction from City Council on the concept of a 4th digital sign presented at the prior public hearing. Since this effort was not included in the proposed budget, direction to staff would inform if the effort should be further explored, including additional locations, refining the budget, and identifying a funding strategy as part of the first quarter budget review report, which will likely require an additional appropriation from fund balance. That concludes staff remarks, and myself, along with my fellow department heads, are available for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Daly. We will now take public comment on this matter. Each speaker will have up to 2 minutes to speak. City Clerk, has anyone signed up to speak?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to step up to the mic and speak at this time? I see no one. Does any member of the council have any questions for staff? Councilmember Schick.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just quickly, Mr. Ian Daly, do we have any projection of revenue for the 4th digital sign that you're just referring?
Mayor Pro Tem and council members, Ian Daly, Finance Director. None. There wasn't any proposal about private marketing on there. The 3 other existing digital signs we do have just market our own content, jobs, events, and things of that nature. So unless there's council direction to the contrary, the assumption would be it would function the same as the other 3 digital signs, the one being at North Torrance Library, the Civic Center, as well as Wilson Park.
It's the information. All right, thank you.
Councilmember Gerson.
The only comment I wanted to make, and first I appreciate you including it in the budget as we discussed. I know that searching for other locations is something that goes back all the way to when Mike Griffiths was a council member. And so other than that aspect, I'd like to support everything else that Mr. Daly said. I think you and I agreed on a location and would like to see it come to fruition.
Thank you, sir. Any other council members wish to speak on this item? Is that you clicking in again, Councilmember Schick? No?
Motion to close.
Okay, if no other council member wishes to be heard, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carries with Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you. City Clerk, may we have the resolution numbers, please?
Yes, Your Honor. The first is resolution number 2026-55, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, establishing the annual appropriation for the second fiscal year 2026-27 of the city's 2025-2027 operating budget. The next is resolution number 2026-56, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, establishing the annual appropriation for the fiscal year 2026-2027 of the city's 2026-2031 capital budget. And the last one is resolution number 2026-57, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, establishing the annual appropriation limit and selection of the annual adjustment factors for fiscal year 2026-2027.
I'll take a motion to adopt those resolutions, please.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2026-25, 2026-56, and 2026-57.
A correction on the first number?
55.
55.
55.
Mayor Pro Tem and council members, would that include the further exploration and returning of the 4th digital sign?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carries with Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaji on 9C.
I wish to recuse myself on item 9C.
Okay, Now is the time and place for a public hearing on Agenda Item 9C, recommendation of the city manager that the city council conduct a public hearing to consider replacing franchise ordinance 3499 and replacing it with franchise ordinance 3967 for a franchise with Air Products and Chemicals, Inc. for a 10-inch hydrogen pipeline for a 20-year term, and determine that the project is categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to Section 15301 of the guidelines implementing the California Environmental Quality Act, and approve an ordinance summary for publication. Is there a staff presentation, please?
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council, Carlos Huizar with the City Manager's Office. Before you tonight is a request to conduct a public hearing, adopt a categorical exemption under the California Environmental Quality Act, and introduce and obtain approval of a pipeline franchise ordinance to replace the expiring ordinance number 3489 with Air Products and Chemicals, Inc. By the way of background, Section 1110 of the Torrance City Charter authorizes the city to grant franchises by ordinances. Back in May 15th, 2001, the City Council did adopt a franchise ordinance on 3499, which granted Air Products the right to operate a 10-inch internal diameter hydrogen pipeline along 190th Street. This pipeline does span 2,790 linear feet along 190th Street, entering the city at Western Avenue and then terminating approximately 100 feet west of the Van Ness Avenue intersection. The original 25-year franchise agreement is set to expire at the end of this month, and the applicant has formally requested a new 20-year term to maintain this critical local industrial footprint. Because this is a single-user pipeline rather than a common carrier, it is not subject to free regulation set by the California Public Utilities Commission. This does allow city staff to successfully negotiate a comprehensive updated compensation structure to ensure fair market value for the public right-of-way, for the use of the public right-of-way. The negotiated revenue structure includes a one-time base granting fee of $25,000 payable on or before the effective date of this ordinance, if council does choose to approve it, an annual base franchise fee of $4.19 per cubic foot of volume occupied in the right-of-way, and an annual product flow fee that's based on the actual hydrogen volume moving through the pipeline, which will commence occurring July 1st, 2026. And then a standard base construction charge to cover any city inspection and trenching costs if the facility requires relocation or replacement during the term or life of this ordinance. Importantly, you do want to note that the specified fees are subject to annual CPI adjustments or consumer price index adjustments for the Los Angeles area, ensuring that the city revenues keep pace with inflation. In strict accordance with the municipal requirements, a notice of public hearing was published in the Daily Breeze on May 29, 2026. Furthermore, official notices were mailed directly to all property owners within 500-foot radius of the pipeline footprint to ensure ample opportunity for public review. Additionally, I do want to direct the council's attention to supplemental material number 1, which was distributed this evening. Following the initial publication of the agenda, Air Products requested minor technical modifications to Section 15, Insurance, and Section 21 Notice. City staff and City Attorney's Office have reviewed these edits and find them completely acceptable. The changes refine standard commercial liability and workers' compensation language to align with current industry protocols, and update the corporate routing address for legal notifications for our products. They still maintain rigorous protections for the city, and they've seamlessly integrated into the revised version for your review. On the environmental front, this project represents a renewal of an existing facility with no expansion of use. Therefore, is categorically exempt from CEQA, pursuant to Section 15301 of the state guidelines. In conclusion, the request is for council's consideration to approve this ordinance, which would ensure that continued safe, reliable operation of this hydrogen infrastructure while securing modernized compensation for our public right-of-way over the next 20 years. Staff is recommending that we conduct the public hearing, receive community input, and subsequently introduce the revised pipeline ordinance for approval. Staff is available for any questions.
Thank you, sir. We'll now take public comment on this matter. Each speaker will have up to 2 minutes to speak. City Clerk, has anyone signed up to speak on this item?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to step up on the mic? Okay, I see no one. Thank you. Does any member of City Council have any questions for staff at this time?
This one.
Okay, Councilmember Sheck.
Thank you. So for the changes, the first one, are we increasing this insurance by $1 million, or what's or we never had this insurance before?
So for the council member, Shake, members of the city council, for the insurance requirement, we did make, the request was to eliminate a separate pollution insurance liability that's already included, that was integrated into the general commercial liability requirement. So if you look at the revised ordinance, that provision was eliminated and integrated into the general commercial liability requirement. And then as part of our protocol, we always want to make sure that this is our opportunity to increase any liability limits as necessary. So there is that additional 1 million additional requirement, which they've accepted.
Just I want to make sure I understand. So we eliminated that in the commercial, but now we have this in workers' comp here for this purpose to
That
change
is
our
correct.
ordinance. Oh,
That is correct.
okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so if there's no other council members who wish to be heard, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Start voting, please. Sorry, he recused himself. Your Honor, that motion carried with Councilmember Kaji recusing himself and Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you, Clerk Poirier. May I have a number and title, please?
Yes, Your Honor. This is ordinance number 3967, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, repealing ordinance number 3499 and granting to Air Products and Chemicals, Inc., a franchise to construct, lay, operate, test, maintain, use, renew, repair, replace, move, change the size and number of, and remove or abandon in place a system of pipelines and appurtenances for the purpose of conducting, transporting, conveying, and carrying hydrogen on, along, in, and under, across public streets, ways, alleys, and places within the City of Torrance.
Thank you. How would the council like to take action?
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried with Councilmember Kaji recused and Mayor Chen absent. I'm sorry. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, you have quorum.
Oh, did not include the ordinance.
Oh. Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem, before we have other members come back, Danny Santana, City Manager's Office, if we could have the council include in the motion the ordinance summary and the categorical CEQA exemption, staff would appreciate it, and take another vote, please.
Thank you. That was
Make a motion to adopt the categorical exemption under California Environmental Quality Act and adopt the pipeline franchise ordinance
And ordinance
and ordinance summary
for publication.
for publication. I'm waiting on somebody else to tell me what else I forgot.
Second.
Start voting, please.
Now you can get them for real.
Your Honor, that motion carried with Councilmember Kaji recused and Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you. We're just waiting for them to return. Okay, now is the time and place for a public hearing on agenda item 9D. Recommendation of the city manager that city council conduct a public hearing to consider replacing franchise ordinance 3800 and replacing it with franchise ordinance 3968 for a franchise with Torrance Basin Pipeline Company, LLC, for a 10-inch petroleum products pipeline for a 10-year term, and determine that the project is categorically exempt from environmental review pursuant to Section 15301 of the guidelines implementing the California Environmental Quality Act, and approve an ordinance summary for publication. Is there a staff presentation, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. And members of the City Council, again, Carlos Huizar, Management Associate with the City Manager's Office. Item 9D is a request to conduct a public hearing, adopt the categorical exemption under CEQA, introduce a pipeline franchise ordinance which would replace franchise ordinance 3800 with Torrance Basin Pipeline Company, LLC, and if so, approve, also adopt a ordinance summary for publication. Like the prior item, Section 1110 of the Torrance City Charter does authorize the city to grant franchises by ordinance. On May 24, 2016, the City Council originally adopted franchise ordinance number 3800, granting Mobile Pacific Pipeline Company an initial 10-year term with a 10-year option to extend. Shortly thereafter, on July 19, 2016, the City Council consented to the assignment of this franchise to Torrance Basin Pipeline Company, LLC. The franchise covers a 10-inch diameter petroleum products pipeline spanning 2,592 linear feet along the west side of Van Ness Avenue between Del Amo Boulevard and 195th Street. With the initial 10-year term scheduled to expire on June 24, 2026, Torrance Basin has submitted a formal notice as of April 1st of this year with its intent to exercise the option to extend the agreement by 10 years. While the operator has contractual right to extend, City staff recommends adopting a new ordinance to formalize the second 10-year period. This administrative step ensures our municipal regulatory framework remains entirely current and establishes a clear sunset date of June 24th, 2036 for the renewed term. Unlike single-user private lines, the pipeline system in question operates as a common carrier, meaning other carriers are legally permitted to utilize the infrastructure. Because it's a common carrier pipeline, the franchise fee rates are non-negotiable and are strictly regulated by the California Public Utilities Commission. Per Section 6231.5 of the Public Utilities Code, these franchise fees are calculated based on the formula factoring in the pipeline's length and diameter, along with a consumer price index escalation factor dating back to 1989. To provide the financial context to the council, the city received $4,999.85 from Torrance Basin under this statutory structure for the year of 2025. In alignment with legal and municipal notification mandates, a notice of public hearing was published for general circulation in the Daily Breeze on May 29, 2026. In addition, public notices were mailed directly to all registered property owners located within 500-foot radius of the Van Ness Avenue pipeline right-of-way, ensuring the community had ample opportunity for review and input prior to tonight's hearing. Regarding environmental reviews, granting a franchise for an existing infrastructure asset with no expansion of use is categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act. This directly satisfies Section 15301 of the state CEQA guidelines regarding existing facilities, and no special circumstance exists that would create adverse environmental impacts. In conclusion, adopting the proposed pipeline franchise ordinance ensures a seamless continuation of Torrance Basin's existing operations while maintaining robust city oversight within our public right-of-way. It fulfills our obligation under the city charter, protects a steady stream of annual franchise fee revenue, and confirms all environmental and public notice mandates are fully met. At this time, staff is recommending that the city council do the following: conduct a public hearing to consider replacing the pipeline franchise ordinance number 3800, adopt the categorical exemption under California Environmental Quality Act, Section 15301 existing facilities, adopt a pipeline franchise ordinance with Torrance Basin Pipeline Company for a 10-year term, And then, of course, 4, adopt an ordinance summary for publication. Staff is available for any questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We'll now take public comment on this matter. Each speaker will have up to 2 minutes to speak. City Clerk, has anyone signed up?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on this matter? Please step up to the mic. Okay, thank you. Does any city council member have any questions for staff at this time or comments? Okay, if there is no comments to be heard, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried with Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you, and may we have a number and title, please, and any other mention that we need to make sure to make?
This is ordinance number 3968, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, amending, superseding, and extending the term of franchise ordinance number 3800 and continuing to grant to Torrance Basin Pipeline Company, LLC, a franchise to construct, lay, operate, test, maintain, use, renew, prepare, replace, move, change the size and number of, and remove or abandon in place a system of pipelines and appurtenances for the purpose of conducting, transporting, conveying, and carrying gas, oil, petroleum products, and water on, along, in, under, and across public streets, ways, alleys, and places within the city of Torrance.
Councilmember Lewis.
I would like to make a motion that we adopt a categorical exemption, replacing the pipeline franchise under the California Environmental Quality Act. Also, to adopt an ordinance with the Torrance Basin Pipeline Company for a 10-year term, and then adopt the ordinance summary for publication.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried with Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you, everyone. Now is the time and place for the public hearing on agenda item 9E pertaining to the First Amendment to a development agreement originally adopted on August 20th, 2024 under ordinance number 3934 between the City of Torrance and Gable House Development, LLC, pertaining to a previously approved mixed-use development with density bonus comprised of 218 apartment units and 12,000 square feet of commercial floor area on property located in the HDA2 zone at 22501 Hawthorne Boulevard. Is there a staff presentation?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. Michelle Ramirez, Community Development Director. On August 20th, 2024, the City Council adopted ordinance number 3934, approving a development agreement with Gable House Development to modify and defer the payment of development impact fees, otherwise known as DIF, associated with an approved mixed-use density bonus project consisting of 218 apartment units and approximately 12,000 square feet of commercial space located at 22501 Hawthorne Boulevard in the HDA2 zone. On May 1st, 2026, Gable House Development submitted a request to amend the development agreement to provide an additional 120-day deferral of DIF payment. Under the existing agreement, payment is due upon earlier of final building inspection approval or issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the first dwelling unit within the project or applicable development phase. After reviewing the request, staff supports amending the development agreement to defer payment of the applicable DIFs until 120 days after the first dwelling unit within the project or applicable phase receives a temporary certificate of occupancy, or final building inspection approval, whichever occurs first. As a condition of the proposed amendment, the applicant and its affiliated entities would be required to withdraw any pending Public Records Act request and execute a waiver and release of any existing claims against the city, including claims for fees, cost, or related matters. Accordingly, staff recommends the City Council discuss and consider the proposed amended development agreement and, if approved, determine the action is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, adopt the accompanying ordinance, and approve the ordinance summary for publication. That concludes staff's presentation. I'm available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now take public comment on this matter. Each speaker will have up to 2 minutes to speak. City Clerk, has anyone signed up to speak on this item?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to step up to the mic and speak? You're deciding? Okay. All right, thank you. Is there any council members that have any questions? Councilmember Sheck.
Thank you. For this development, do we need to notify the neighbors? Because of this amendment, do we notify the neighbors with this, in this case, or no?
We don't have to, we notified we did the notice of the public hearing as far as just a general in the paper, but we do not have to send out notices.
Yeah. There's no change to the development. The only thing is a delay to a payment made to the city, and then some waivers from the developer back to the city. But there's no, it does not affect the development that was originally approved by the council.
But they're adding more units, right?
No, this is just to delay the payment of.
Or delay the payment for DIF. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
all right. All right, thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
Thank you. And is it a delay or a defer?
Delay and defer is the same. So it's
In
just
this-
delaying the payment by 120 days from the date, either a temporary certificate of occupancy, or final building inspection.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Anyone, any other council members have a question? Okay, we'll take a motion to close the public hearing then.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Second.
Voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carries with Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you. And Clerk Poirier, may we have a number and title, please?
Yes, Your Honor. This is ordinance number 3969, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Torrance, California, approving a First Amendment to a development agreement between the City of Torrance and Gable House Development LLC related to a development at 22501 Hawthorne Boulevard, Torrance, California, assessors parcel number 7368-001-015.
How would the council like to act on this matter?
All right, I'll try. I make a motion to adopt an ordinance approving the amended development agreement between City of Torrance and Gable House Development, and approve an ordinance summary for publication.
And Your Honor, would that include determining the project is exempt from the
As an
California
exemption as well.
environmental?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried unanimously with Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you. Okay, good, go ahead and keep going. Moving on to administrative matters. Item 10A. Item 10A is from our police department. And do we have a staff presentation, please?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. My name is Lieutenant Michael Chance, representing the Torrance Police Department. I'm joined by fellow members of the Torrance Police Department who helped me produce the Military Equipment Annual Report. We are here this evening on behalf of Chief Dunn to present a recommendation regarding our military equipment use policy. We respectfully request that the Council review the Military Equipment 2025-26 Annual Report to determine whether each category of equipment complies with the approval standards outlined in Government Code Section 7071D. Additionally, we ask that the Council renew Ordinance 3902, which authorizes the Police Department's military equipment use policy. I would like to highlight a few key points from this year's report. First, the annual report was prepared following a comprehensive inventory and audit of all military equipment. I am pleased to report that no exceptions or deficiencies were identified. Second, as outlined in our policy, community members may submit concerns regarding military equipment through an email link available on the police department's website. Any complaints related to the use or application of this equipment are handled in accordance with our personnel complaint procedures. As of today's date, no complaints have been received. Third, none of the equipment currently in our inventory, nor any equipment proposed for acquisition in this report, is sourced from military or Department of Defense channels. And finally, in accordance with Government Code Section 7072B, the department hosted a community engagement meeting on June 3rd, 2026 at the Torrance Cultural Arts Center. The department will also be hosting a second additional community engagement meeting on June 16th, 2026, also at the Torrance Cultural Arts Center. In closing, we respectfully request that the City Council review the military equipment annual report, affirm that each category of equipment meets the standards set forth in Government Code Section 7071D, and approve the renewal of Ordinance 3902 to ensure continued compliance with state law. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, sir. City Clerk, has anyone signed up to speak on this item?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anyone here present that would like to speak on this item? Please step up to the mic. I don't see anyone. Is there any questions from the council? Good job.
Thank you.
I'll take a motion to concur with the recommendation of the Chief of Police.
So moved.
I'll second. I just can't click. I can't click in. There we go.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried with Mayor Chen absent.
Okay, moving on to item 10B from the City Manager and Community Development Director. Is there a staff presentation?
Yes, there is. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. Julia Smith from Community Development. Item 10A from the City Manager's Office in Community Development pertains to the city's temporary housing operations contract with Harbor Interfaith Services and the city's overall homeless response effort. This item is a recommendation to approve the First Amendment to the Consulting Services Agreement with Harbor Interfaith, authorize submission of the grant materials, accept and appropriate grant awards, and accept and file an update report on the city's progress on addressing homelessness in Torrance. Next slide, please. So a little bit about the structure of tonight's presentation. We're going to start with an overview of the recommended contract extension with Harbor Interfaith. Harbor Interfaith staff and 3290 Program Director Samantha Rodriguez is here tonight to provide an update on temporary housing program outcomes. Zulma Gent from the City Manager's Office will present on street outreach outcomes and provide staff's recommendation for council's consideration. Next slide, please. So this slide provides a little bit of background on 3290. On June 22nd, 2021, City Council approved Torrance Civic Center grounds to be the site for a temporary housing program. The site began operations in July of 2022. After 3 years of operations in an RFP process on May 6, 2025, City Council awarded Harbor Interfaith with the operations contract from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. Tonight's recommendation is to approve the First Amendment to the current operations contract with Harbor Interfaith, extended for 1 year. Harbor Interfaith has requested a 2.7% increase to $1,831,529.03. This increase represents line item increases for staffing, utilities, and trash. Recommendation number 1 of the item is to approve this contract amendment. Next slide, please. So this slide shows some of the projected contract funding for fiscal year 26-27. The funding includes $940,000 in community project funds from Congressman Liu, as well as $98,184.73 in rollover community project funds from Congresswoman Waters. Recommendation numbers 2 and 3 of the item are to submit and execute the grant materials for these funding sources, including the funding appropriation. Staff also anticipates using funds from the State of California Permanent Local Housing Allocation, otherwise known as PLHA, which has been a funding source for the site since initial activation. The funding is the result of a fee on real estate transactions in the jurisdiction. Staff also recommends using opioid abatement funds in the amount of $124,778.37 and SST funds in the amount of $166,503 for this contract cost. The opioid abatement funds are the result of lawsuits against manufacturers, distributors, pharmacies, and other entities involved in the opioid epidemic. California and California's participating jurisdictions, such as Torrance, receive ongoing funding from these settlements. One eligible use is addressing the needs of vulnerable populations, such as the homeless population, that are deemed by the state to be disproportionately impacted by substance use disorder. The Measure SST funds are a portion of the $1 million per year targeted for homeless response efforts. Additionally, the South Bay COG plans to award the city $250,000 in Measure A local solutions funds for this contract. A little bit more on this on the next slide. This brings the total to $1,831,529.03. Next slide, please. Okay, the South Bay COG anticipates awarding the city $310,000 in Measure A local solutions funds for 3290 operations and maintenance. Recommendation number 4 of the item is for council to authorize the execution of the MOU, which will enable the city to receive these funds. Through the MOU execution, the city will retain access to the COG's regional programs that are essential to the city's homeless response efforts. These include time-limited subsidies, where the COG funds a portion of participants' rental assistance for a limited time while they receive self-sufficiency-focused case management, share housing, which is a room rental service, and client aid, where the COG pays for security deposits, motel stays, and other one-time stabilization services. Next slide, please. So now we're going to go into the update on the city's progress on addressing homelessness in Torrance. Harbor Interfaith staff will provide this update with Ms. Samantha Rodriguez and Tahia Hayslett.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and council members. I am Tahia Hayslett, the Executive Director for Harbor Interfaith Services. And Harbor Interfaith provides homeless services throughout the entire South Bay and serve as the lead agency for the coordinated entry system for families, youth, as well as adults. With me tonight is our Program Director of 3290, and she will provide the update.
Good evening, Council. So, going to share some of the 3290 operations and strategies. We at 3290 provide temporary housing stability and case management with the goal of attaining permanent housing through vouchers, family reunification, and private market rentals. Harbor Interfaith uses the countywide coordinated entry system to connect high acuity clients with permanent supportive housing. And we also assist clients with document readiness, housing navigation, connections to mental and physical health services, and resources to provide clients with an increase to income. So at 3290, our housing metrics since July 5th of 2022 to date, the amount of clients permanently housed through 3290 is 46. Clients at 3290 who have been matched to housing voucher is 38. And lastly, clients at 3290 who have been connected to healthcare services, whether physical or mental health, is 60. Thank you.
Zuma.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. Zulma Jant with the City Manager's Office. I will be providing you an update with the street outreach program operations up to date since the inception of 2022. As you are all very familiar with our 3 very dedicated homeless outreach workers, Valerie Hernandez, Rebecca Silva, and Norma Olvera, they continue to connect individuals and assess each case and connect them to resources and provide educational on the city's anti-camping ordinance. They also collaborate with some of the CLOs, well, actually all the CLOs, the Torrance Police Department in general, and sometimes Fire Department. They also do engage with the community and business members with requesting and advising to please submit and request all outreach referrals to our email address, outreachtorrance@ca.gov or mytorrance app. Next slide, please. Since the inception of the homeless program, the city and collaboration with TPD and the outreach team, we have done 61 encampments, and that means throughout the city, whether it's BNSF, Railroad, Metro, or Caltrans. And the team has outreached 1,986 individuals since the day of its inception, and that number continues to grow daily. The outreach team has housed 70 individuals. Those 70 individuals never made it to 3290. So they go from street to permanent housing. Next slide, please. Due to the challenges to permanent housing, we've seen the change in coordinated entry system, which prioritization guidelines for permanent supportive housing has changed, and we've seen that change in the past few months, who have affected 3290 and the outreach team. Also, some of the challenges is lack of affordable housing in SPA 8, which are now matching preferences are geographically. And then the city is working collaboratively with partners with the South Bay COG, Harbor Interfaith, and LA County HSH new department, who is now overseeing or is taking over the LASA responsibilities to identify permanent housing opportunities for participants in the street outreach and 3290. So next slide, please. Tonight's recommendation is that City Council approve contract amendment with Harbor Interfaith Services, accept and appropriate grant awards and authorize submission of grants material, and also authorize execution of the MOU with the South Bay City Council of Governments, and authorize the city manager as the city signatory, and accept and file update with the city's progress in addressing homelessness in Torrance. And I am available for any questions.
Thank you very much. City Clerk, has anyone signed up from the public to speak on this item?
No, Your Honor.
And do any council members have any? I apologize. I didn't ask if anyone in the audience would like to step up to the mic to speak. Okay, I see none. So are there any council members that would like to comment? Councilmember Matucci.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just want to, thank you guys for the excellent work over the years. The program seems to always evolve into something that's just a little bit better every year. I have a question about the 70 individuals that were placed into permanent housing. Was that mainly through like the Section 8 voucher program, or what kind of programs are we tapping into?
So we're mainly tapping into shared housing. A lot of these individuals cannot afford a full rent, so they prefer to share like a room somewhere. It's different cities that has that program, shared housing. So the team really is very proactive in addressing their needs when they have very low income. So shared housing seems to be a good match for a lot of people.
And another question, is there a lack of landlords that are accepting vouchers? Do you find that to be a problem? I think somebody.
Your Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, council members, Michelle Ramirez, Community Development Director. Since we do have a very active Section 8 program, I can say that we do have a number of property owners that are more than willing to accept the Section 8 rental assistance.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Councilmember Sheikh.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Zoma, for wonderful effort. I think it's telling how wonderful the program has been working. We see fewer and fewer clients. That's what you call it, right? So that's a good, very successful program. If for the public, would you like to expand on the countrywide coordinated entry system that you connect the high equity clients with the permanent supportive housing? Would you please elaborate on that?
Yes, I think Harbor Interfaith can elaborate on that question since they use the system a bit more than us.
Thank you.
So you said expand on what the coordinated entry system?
So what's the process? How do you connect if somebody is really need, and how do you determine the equity for this, and how do you connect the dots and provide them the assistance that you can?
Right. So each of the participants that enroll in the program, one of the first things we do is ensure that they're document ready, and we also complete an assessment. That assessment tells us where they are in terms of the how do we prioritize them in the system, and then it's usually matched to a resource based on the need.
So if you find any person with high equity, and first of all, what's the factor? How do you determine that this person qualifies for that? And what do you do the next step for our community?
So I can touch on that, Councilmember Shea. So the assessment that we use at the 3290 as well as at the coordinated entry system will go over a multitude of various categories, essentially assessing a client and various needs, whether it's physical health, mental health, their experience of homelessness. Essentially, what this assessment will do is compute a acuity score depending on how the clients had answered the assessment. And so there are clients that may score lower based on their experience of homelessness and the issues that they may be facing. Other clients may score higher due to just having a higher frequency of experiencing homelessness and a various of multitude factors. And so essentially, individuals that have scored higher on the assessment and have a higher acuity score will then be placed or connected to these permanent supportive housing opportunities because it is the most sustainable way to house clients that have those higher level needs.
So for those clients, you bring them to our tiny homes first, and then you transport them to other facilities?
So it depends. When we have clients that are brought to 3290 via the outreach team, and once they have their intake completed, one of the things that we as case managers and as the program director will do with the clients is conduct the assessment with them. That's something that should be completed within the first month of their arrival at 3290. And then once having that score in the database, we'll with the hopes of getting them connected to permanent supportive housing. So to answer your question, once we get the clients and have them have the assessment score assigned to them, it does not automatically guarantee their connection to a permanent supportive housing resource. However, it does increase the likelihood that they will be matched from the county.
Do we know how many in this category we provide assistance in this fiscal year, in this period? The number of clients?
The number of clients that qualify for
this program?
All of our clients at 3290 have been assessed with the assessment to obtain a acuity score.
So I think my question is, how many clients that you connected with permanent housing because of this effort? Do you have the number by chance?
Like how many are permanently housed?
To the permanent housing, right.
Through acuity versus
Oh,
Section
okay.
8
So, yes, so based on the numbers that we had presented, I have a percentage on the client, so let me grab that here. So of our clients at 3290, those that have been connected to permanent supportive housing because of their acuity score is more than 75%. The remaining percentage of clients are those that have been connected to a voucher program or have been able to obtain permanent housing through their own accord, whether it's having obtained a job and moving into the private market rental.
That's pretty successful. Thank you.
Councilman Chick, if I could offer just a little more information to the Mayor Pro Tem and your honorable body. Thank you for that, Samantha. Zolma Gent, my colleague, brought it up before, but we really wanted to highlight there's probably two different numbers that we referenced today, and we really want to call out the difference between the two numbers. The first number that Harbor Interfaith referenced was the number of clients at 3290 who have been permanently housed. That number is 46. So people who are at 3290 tend to be of higher acuity, meaning that they have a number of barriers to attaining permanent housing. Samantha Rodriguez identified some of them related to medical or mental health, income or lack thereof, credit or lack thereof, and number of years experiencing homelessness. Those are all factors that might go into an acuity score. Those at 3290 tend to be higher acuity, which is exactly the purpose of having an interim housing. We want to make sure to temporarily house people who are experiencing homelessness on the street while they get the services through Harbor Interfaith Services case managers and program director to move in the direction towards permanent housing. The other number that we referenced, which is on the monitors in front of you, is the one my partner Zoma Gent mentioned, which is 70 individuals were housed through outreach efforts. And the difference there is the outreach team is successful because our high acuity clients are in an interim housing site known as 3290. Because of that, our outreach team is able to work with people on the street and take them either in a very short period of time to our SRO, which is our single resident occupancy site that your honorable body approved in January of this year, or often directly into a permanent housing situation, as Zolma Gent mentioned, like share housing or family reunification. Or sometimes even if they have a source of income, able to get a unit for themselves. So those are the two different numbers we reference, just for clarity.
Well, thank you. I think what the percentage that she shared with us, 75%, that's pretty darn good ratio. Percentage meaning for high equity clients, we have very few in our tiny homes. Is that correct assumption?
The number fluctuates. I may defer to Samantha, who is the day-to-day at 3290.
Yeah. So to provide some clarification, and as Viet did touch on, majority of our clients at 3290 throughout its inception and up to date are high acuity clients. However, having the high acuity clients is what has allowed us to be successful in getting them matched to permanent supportive housing specifically. These are housing opportunities that provide clients with the ability to be able to sustain themselves. They are re-entering the world of being able to afford rent. They are responsible for your just day-to-day responsibilities of being a renter. But the special thing about these programs is that it does provide ongoing case management services to clients to continue the progress that had been made at 3290.
Right. I think what you say, basically, I'm a number guy, so I'm saying that in our 40 tiny homes, we should have only 12, which is high equity. The rest of them, that's a low-hanging fruits. Can we say that they're in a good shape, so we can possibly have them turn over, go to permanent housing quickly than the 12 that we're talking about? Is that a good assumption?
Yes, and I think right now we have probably a little higher than 12 clients that are high acuity. However, these are the clients that in the pipelines we will be getting connected to permanent supportive housing and two different city housing subsidy programs.
Okay, it's successful. The bottom line is that we have high equity people that they're not here, that we're just keeping them, moving them to using those permanent housing support services, right? Correct. That's the assumption. Thank you. One more question about SSD funding. According to page 3, we have we allocated $166,000 for this year, right?
Councilman Shake, Julia Smith from CDD, yes.
Right. And we designated $1 million for SSD, right?
Yes, Councilman Shake, $1 million annually.
Annually. So with this funding from our congressional representative and the resources now, that has gone to significantly. And I want to thank for our staff for advocating and bringing more funds so we don't touch our general fund as much as we can. And that's a huge success. Well, thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, we'll take a motion to concur with the recommendations of the city manager and community development director.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Start voting, please. Your Honor, that motion carried with Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you. We'll keep going to item 10C from the Historic Preservation Commission and Community Development Director. Is there a staff presentation?
Yes, Your Honor. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. My name is Kevin Joe with the Community Development Department, and I have a presentation covering the materials covered in item 10C. Item 10C is a recommendation of the Historic Preservation Commission and the Community Development Director to conduct a workshop on the proposed amendments to the Historic Preservation Plan, adopt the amended Historic Preservation Plan, and to discuss and consider amending the Torrance Municipal Code. In 2025, the City Council directed staff to bring forward an item for their consideration to allow the landmark designation and creation of historic districts for qualified commercial buildings. The existing historic preservation ordinance and preservation plan were evaluated to determine what would be necessary to allow this to occur. The historic preservation ordinance establishes criteria and procedures for designating landmarks and districts citywide for all structure types. However, the preservation plan was lacking design considerations and strategies for preserving commercial structures and storefronts. The historic preservation consultant Page and Turnbull was hired to prepare amendments to the preservation plan for facilitating these strategies. This presentation will provide an overview of those proposed amendments to the preservation plan. Next slide. The amendments consist of adding sections covering the following topics: commercial content, what makes a property historic, and design considerations. These topics will be covered in the following slides. Revisions were also made to clarify how proposed changes are managed in the Torrance Tract Overlay Zone versus structures that have been landmark designated or within historic districts, and also include additional recommendations for preserving resources. Next slide. This slide depicts the table of contents from the plan that was adopted in 2017 and the proposed amended plan, with highlighting those sections that have been added or altered. Next slide. Added and enhanced commercial content has been incorporated into the preservation plan. A new section entitled Commercial Development History has been added to provide contextual background, development patterns and influences, predominant architectural styles, and the characteristics of downtown Torrance from when Torrance was founded in 1912 to the late 20th century. An analysis was performed of the commercial resources in the Torrance Tract and found that the downtown Torrance lacked sufficient cohesion to be a strong historic district, but there were individual properties that could qualify as landmarks. And lastly, strategies and guidelines for preserving and rehabilitating commercial storefronts have been included. Next slide. A new section entitled What Makes a Property Historic has been added to provide guidance when evaluating landmark designation requests. There are three aspects that make a property historic: the historic context, significance, and integrity. Historic context outlines the place, time, and development theme patterns. Once the historic context has been established, the property must satisfy one or more of the 7 significant criteria and also possess integrity. Explanations and examples of the significance criterion and integrity thresholds most relevant by criteria have been provided. Next slide. The design consideration section of the plan contains revised and enhanced language for what to consider when reviewing projects involving individual historic resources, contributing resources, and non-contributing resources within a historic district. These consideration and preservation approaches are summarized on this slide. Next slide. Lastly, additional recommendations for historic preservation have been added. These include encouraging eligible properties to take advantage of the Mills Act program and study options to encourage repair and restoration of commercial buildings to its original appearance, such as developing a project review process for storefronts and commercial exteriors, creating commercial design standards or guidelines, revising or creating a new facade improvement program, and the use of the California Historic Building Code for eligible properties. Next slide. The Historic Preservation Commission considered the amendments to the preservation plan on April 30th. Commissioner Weedman expressed that the current 100% threshold for owner consent was a barrier for the creation of historic districts, and desired that amending the code to be explored to lower that threshold to 60%. The commission recommended the council that they conduct a workshop, receive the public input from the public and city council on the proposed amendments, adopt the amended preservation plan, and discuss and consider amending the Torrance Municipal Code to lower the property owner threshold for the creation of historic districts from 100% to 60%. Next slide. The Community Development Director recommends that the council conduct a workshop and receive public, input from the public and city council on the proposed amendments and adopt the amended historic preservation plan. Staff notes when the original historic preservation ordinance was adopted to allow the creation of historic districts, the inclusion of the 100% property consent threshold was a critical factor in the ordinance passing. No historic districts have been established to date, and interest for establishing a historic district has been limited. The preservation plan allows for the creation of geographic historic districts for the collection of buildings that are related by architecture, historic or cultural themes that are not necessarily located in the same geographic area. In addition, the Torrance Tract Overlay Zone, which applies to contributing and alter-contributing residential structures within the Torrance Tract, regardless of their historic designation status, was established to encourage preservation and maintain neighborhood character. Staff does not support this modification to reduce the consent threshold at this time and recommends revisiting this at a later date to allow the current program additional time to grow and then establish more local landmarks. And this concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions you may have.
Thank you. City Clerk, has anyone signed up to speak on this matter?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to step up to the mic? People are shaking their head no. Step up to the mic and speak on this matter? Okay. Are there any questions from the council? I have a couple, please. I think I heard you say, but I want to make sure I did. Are there any historic districts in other cities that have the have a lower threshold than the 100%?
It's very atypical to have 100% threshold. Generally, it's a simple majority, or it may go up to more of a like a 2/3 majority.
Okay. Okay.
Your Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, Council Michelle Ramirez, Community Development Director. It should be noted that the staff did take, besides when this was initially established, approximately 2 years ago, we actually took it on again to look at lowering the threshold. That was under our former council member, Mike Griffiths, that requested that we look at that. Staff did a assessment, a very in-depth assessment at that time, and there was still no support for 100% for a district. We're still not getting that support for 100% district. But as was mentioned by Associate Planner Kevin Joe, there are still ways where folks where residents who have similar architectural design can still create their own district, and instead of it being geographically located next to each other, they could actually be located in different areas within the Torrance Tract and still be considered a district.
Okay. So would that help establish the opportunity for someone that maybe lives in 90503 to have a historic home or building?
This only applies right now to those that are located within the Torrance tract
Okay,
for the residential.
okay.
And the commercial is specifically for the downtown Torrance area.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, how would the council like to proceed on this item? Do we need more clarification?
Councilwoman Autumn Choi, City Manager, you can also accept and file. And that's an option. Michelle, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, the motion for tonight was really just to be able to add the commercial. We already have the residential, so as city manager stated, if that's not something the council is interested in doing at this time, it would just be a receive and file, and we would continue forward with just the residential historic districts.
So when will be the next report if we just accept and file? When can we get the?
Councilman Autumn Choi, if council desires to bring this back at a later date, you could always direct staff with council concurrence to return with direction or work effort at the Historic Preservation Commission.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Is it possible to go ahead and conduct a workshop?
That's what you did when you asked for public comment.
Okay, fair enough.
Considering doesn't seem like we have too much excitement, I'll just move that we accept and file for tonight. And we can always bring it back at a later date.
Councilmember Lewis has buzzed in for a question.
Oh, she did. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't see that, please.
Oh, no, that's okay. I think the hesitancy on my part is that I would actually like to see the program expanded other than one geographic location. I think that Torrance has some great historical districts or great historical structures and homes and businesses that are outside of this district. So I'd love to see what we could maybe do for that. And in that spirit, I don't know what your motion was, Councilmember Matucci, but I would like to just accept and file until we can explore it more. I think there's some real opportunity there.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, Michelle Ramirez, Community Development Director, if I could, the initial oral was really just to be able to add commercial to being able to also be to do historic preservation. So that was really what we were bringing this back for right now, was just to be able to add the commercial area of downtown Torrance. If the council would like us to, in the future, look at also expanding outside the Torrance tract, we can do that, but that really wasn't the idea for this evening. This evening was really just to be able to add the commercial so those property owners that own commercial in the downtown Torrance would now also be able to apply through our program for historic preservation.
Got it. Okay. So within that, I don't know what your motion is, but I would like to support adding the commercial and then revisiting the area.
And the impact, sorry.
Please, thank you.
Microphone.
Can't hear you.
Hello?
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council, Oscar Martinez, Community Development Department. I'd just like to clarify a little bit on Councilwoman Lewis's question. It should be noted that properties outside of the Torrance tract are still eligible to do the state and federal program to be designated as a historical landmark and proceed through the Mills Act process.
Okay, thank you.
I withdrew my motion, by the way.
Pardon?
I withdrew my motion just so that we
I
can
saw that,
have
so we're
further
looking
talk.
for a motion to add commercial oh, sorry. Councilmember Garza.
I wanted to ask some more questions about the 60% and the development of that. I know you started the conversation, Mayor Pro Tem, and I just kind of wanted to hear more. How did we wind up at 60% as please, you know what I'm asking.
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, Michelle Ramirez, I'm going to turn it over to Planning Associate Kevin Joe in just a second to go in more detail since the commission, this was proposed by the commission. But I just want to make it clear there's kind of two things going on here. So it was originally to add the commercial, and then when we took it back to the Historic Preservation Commission to have them bless adding the commercial properties and make a recommendation to bring this to council, they then added this additional step. So that was not something that the council was actually looking for at first. And then during their conversations, it's something that Commissioner, I believe, Griffiths, or which, Wiedemann? Brought up wanting to, again, for the council to look at lowering the threshold for the residential area and lowering it to 60%. I'm not sure that he explained how he came about that 60%. Do you remember?
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council, Oscar Martinez, Community Development Department. So the 60% was referenced by the consultant. A question was asked by the commissioner as far as what other cities typically have, and if 100% was typical. The consultant stated that typically it's about a 60%, or as Planning Associate Kevin Joe mentioned, it's a 2/3 majority of what is in other locations.
That helps me a lot.
Councilmember Adam Shapiro, City Manager, if I may take it way back at the time of the inception of the Historic Preservation District, residents spoke against a lower threshold. At the time, council felt if residents were so inclined to implement a historic district designation, they should have attained 100%.
Thank you. That makes sense.
And that was still what we received from that area about 2 years ago when we looked at lowering it at that time again.
So for me, instead of just accept and file, I would support the adoption of the amendment to add commercial property. But I'd like to take more time to think about the 100 to 60%, personally.
I would second that.
Was that a motion? Okay. All right.
I think that was Councilmember Gerson making the motion, and so.
No, the Mayor Pro Tem made the motion, and I
and
made the
Gerson
second.
Can,
No, okay, sorry.
Your Honor, that motion carried with Mayor Chen absent.
Okay, there's no agency agendas, so we'll go ahead and move on to oral communications number 2. Thank you, gentlemen. This portion of the meeting is reserved for comments on items not on the agenda. Under the Ralph M. Brown Act, the City Council can not act on items raised during public comment, but may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed, request clarification, or refer the item to staff. Speakers under orals are limited to either oral communications 1 or oral communications 2, and no longer than 2 minutes per speaker. Time starts when you step up to the microphone. If presenting handout material to council, please provide 11 copies to the city clerk before speaking. Handouts will be distributed while you speak. Has anyone signed up for oral communications 2? And is there anyone else that would like to make any comments under oral communications 2? Please step up to the mic. Nobody? Okay. So at this time, we'll go ahead and go to council orals, and we'll start with Councilmember Matucci.
I have nothing tonight, but thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Schick.
Thank you.
Councilmember Grissom.
I've said enough today. Thank you.
Councilmember Kaji.
Me too.
Councilmember Lewis.
I have nothing, thank you.
And I just want to wish everybody a wonderful evening. Thank you.
So,
Yes, we're going to go ahead now, and we're going to go back into closed session at 8:37. Thank you.
ready? We are live, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, reconvening the city council meeting at 9:49. As we conclude this evening's meeting, I want to thank everyone for their active participation and interest in staying informed, and I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn to meeting to Tuesday, June 16th, 2026 at 5 p.m. for closed session in the Leroy J. Jackson Council Chamber.
Second.
Start voting, please. We're voting on adjournment. That motion carries. Councilmember Shake saying no, and Mayor Chen absent.
Thank you. Good night.
We're clear.